Hey everyone, we're going to do the part 2 of activity 15 on polygons. The other day we talked about how to classify polygons. We looked at whether or not they are convex or concave. That's one way to classify polygons. We talked about how to classify them by the number of sides and naming them. And then we talked about how polygons are regular or irregular. And then we kind of hit the first part about interior and exterior angles. And we put in some work ahead of time to go ahead and find out what the sum of the interior and exterior was, and each interior and each exterior for regular polygons were for the most common polygons, usually number of sides 3 through 10. So we're going to come back to this information here in just a bit to help us out. But in some situations, we don't know, they're not regular polygons, they're irregular. And we have some of the information and not all of the information when it comes to the angles. So we're first going to talk about the interior angles of a polygon. And we're going to usually use this template, these 5 steps, to solve for the variable of the interior angles of a polygon. So we're talking about the inside angles. So step 1, we calculate the sum of the interior angles using the formula n minus 2, which is the sides minus 2 times 180. Now, if it happens to be a polygon where we already have that information in this middle column, the sum of interior, then we'll go back to this. That's the reason that we did it. That's the reason we have it. Once you find the sum of interior angles, we're going to write an equation by adding up every angle and setting it equal to the sum of the angles. So we're going to add all of them together, depending on how many sides there are, and it's going to equal the sum of angles. Step 3, we're going to solve for the variable using algebra. Step 4, read the question again to make sure you have answered it. And then step 5, if you need to calculate an angle measure, we're going to plug your answer back in, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So let's look at an example. Here, I have interior angles, and I have a pentagon, 5 sides. I need to solve for the measure of angle P. Okay? So the first step is calculate the sum of the interior angles. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here to my table. 5 sides of pentagon. The sum of the interior angles is 540. Okay, now I'm going to switch over and do this on paper. And you need to do this on paper also. So pause the video for a second. It doesn't have to be perfect, but draw the picture, draw the pentagon, and put in the information so we know what to work with. So pause the video and draw this. Okay. So we know all the sum of the interior angles equals 540 degrees because this is a pentagon. Now, if this was an octagon and had 8 sides, this number would change if we're dealing with interior angles. It's all based on how many sides there are. Step 2 says we're going to add all the angles together and set them equal to this number. So I usually start at the top and go clockwise. So I'm going to start with 2x plus x plus 3x plus 106 plus 86. Okay, so I have my equation and I'm ready to solve for the variable. So first of all, I'm going to take care of all the variables. How many variables do I have? How many x's do I have? 2x plus x plus 3x. Okay, so that's 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. So I have a total of 6 x's. Took care of those. Now I'm going to take care of the numbers. 106 plus 86 is 192. Now, if you can't do this in your head, use a calculator. Okay? So now I'm going to solve this two-step equation. First thing I'm going to do is move the 192 over. I'm going to subtract 192 from both sides. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So that cancels out. 540 minus 192 is 348. And then on this side, I have 6x. Now I need to get rid of the 6, so I'm going to divide both sides by 6. 348 divided by 6, x equals 58. Now, I'm going to go back to my original. I am looking for the measure of angle P. So I'm looking for this angle right here. P, the measure of angle P, equals 3 times x. Well, I'm going to replace that x with this. 3 times 58. 3 times 58 is 174. Well, the measure of angle P is 174 degrees. And that is the answer I'm looking for. So to make sure that we keep all this information, I'm going to go back to the notes. Up here, there's the insert image box. I'm going to select camera. Be sure and line it up. Take a picture. Insert it. Now, the biggest mistake I see people making is they go back and look at the example. They do the adding correctly. They add all of these up correctly, but no matter what the polygon is, they still put 540 because that's what is in the notes. The only reason we put 540 was because it was a pentagon. Okay, again, if this shape changes to a different amount of sides, we change that 540. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's interior, inside angles. Now we're going to talk about exterior angles. Everything stays the same except for this initial step. The sum of exterior angles is always 360 degrees. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's a pentagon, a triangle, octagon, a 78gon. Exterior angles always add up to 360 degrees. All the other steps stay the same. Okay? So we're going to look at this polygon, and it says solve for x. We need to keep that in mind. We're only solving for x. So we have a pentagon. This is the same polygon as the one that we did. Because it was interior, we set this first one up to 540. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to the paper. Take a minute, pause the video, and draw this polygon. Okay, draw this polygon. Okay, so this time it's going to be equal to 360. Now I'm going to add all of these up. I'm going to start with this one first. 2x plus x plus 3x plus 4x plus 2x equal 360 because they are all outside. So this one is a little bit easier than the one that we previously did because all I'm dealing with is variables. So I'm going to add all these up. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. So there's a total of 12 x's here. And it equals 360 degrees. So I only have one step. To solve for this, I'm going to divide both sides by 12. X equals 30. And all I needed to do was solve for X. So I'm done. That's the only step I have to do. So again, I'm going to take a picture of this, insert it, to make sure I show the difference between interior and exterior angles. Okay. Now there's one more thing I want to show you real quick, because there are very common mistakes that happen here. This is the same shape that we looked at. However, the difference is I have 3 exterior angles. I have an interior angle, and then this angle has nothing. Here's the most common mistake I see happen. I see people add all the angles together that they see, and because most of them are exterior, they set it equal to 360. This will give you the wrong answer. We don't want to do this. We need to have all the angles on the outside. So let's look at this. So if this interior angle is 120 degrees, what do we know about a straight line? How many degrees is a straight line? Well, a straight line has 180 degrees. So if this angle is 120, what do we add to that to get 180? So this exterior angle is 60 degrees. So I've had several people who get to this point and then write this down. This is still wrong. We have 5 sides. We need to have 5 angles listed. Just because there's nothing here does not mean that there is nothing there. Because we see this square, we know that this is a 90-degree angle. We know that this is also a 90-degree angle. So the correct way to write this would be 2x plus 60 plus x plus 90 plus 4x equals 360. So be careful. Be sure everything's outside or everything's inside, and then follow the steps according to what you need to do to solve. Now, today's assignment is located in the folder. Be sure and read the instructions. The assignment's a little bit different today than what we normally do, and you have to show work on your paper, and then you have to take a picture of it and share it. If you have any questions, let any one of us know, and we'll help you. Have a great day.